LiberalViewer presents.
So I've been covering the political coverage of the corporate media here in the United States all year, every week in my Sunday live clip roundups, and looking back on the year 2015, the scariest political story has got to be the rise of Donald Trump, which is why the scariest clip from all my clip roundups this year, I think, has got to be the video of a focus group of Donald Trump supporters explaining their support to conservative consultant Frank Luntz on CBS's Face the Nation earlier this month, and I'll explain that a little more and ask what you think after you watch that clip here.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Raise your hands if you agree with him. 14, 16, 17.
They don't want to become Americans. They want to come here and blow up America and kill us.
All Muslims?
Some.
Trump
We have no way of knowing.
All Muslims.
No.
Temporarily, we have no way of knowing who they are. Yes, we need a temporary halt. That's a very reasonable position.
We're legitimately afraid. And the president is not making us feel safer.
Yeah, he wants to yell at us about, like, gun control.
I think we're all scared. I'm actually a little jumpy, I find, and Trump is the only one who would come out and say something like this. No one else would do
And
it.
so you credit him with that.
I do. I mean, no one else would say it. Who would say it?
So you don't see, even in this room, this explosion of points of view that maybe he went too far in what he said?
Well, you know what Trump does? He says something completely crazy and inflammatory, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then he dials back and sort of starts explaining it and saying how he would do.
It creates the conversation.
And it makes
which I
sort
think
of
is
sense.
good.
Trump is smart like a fox. He's in campaign mode. He has to be proactive. He's intentionally playing the media. He's saying things that are right on the edge. He's exaggerating. He's saying things that he knows the mainstream media will grab and throw a gasoline on, and it goes really big.
We're not believing everything he's saying. Nobody's. No, we're taking it for exactly what he just explained. He goes out and he makes a huge fuss to get everyone's attention, to get his issues addressed. We want someone to take a stance. We want someone to say, yes, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Is it his persona, his tenacity, his raising of issues you care about?
His personality is just so large. I mean, he's out there, he's getting everyone to talk about stuff, just like the lady back here said.
He is entertaining. He's giving everyone something to talk about.
He looks presidential and he acts presidential.
You think he acts presidential. So when he said, and I quote, I would bomb the shit out of ISIS.
And this is when
He used the word shit.
Good.
That's presidential?
Yes.
Americans think the country's in crisis. Trump is telling them the country's in crisis, and people flock to a strong leader when they think the country's in crisis.
Not people, you. Don't talk about people. You flock to Trump.
Yeah, I'm attracted to his persona.
Because?
Because of what's happening in the world. International affairs. He stands up there, he gives the image he's not going to put up with any crap.
You're an African American. Why do you support Trump?
Because he's saying stuff that needs to be said. When it comes to the general election, I think a significant number of African Americans will support Trump because the entertainment fact that he has, that he, the persona, he's a businessman.
if Trump gets elected, he will have people that will coach him to ensure that these type of things aren't said out loud.
We've seen a lot of bad things that Trump has done. We've seen a lot of bad things that he's said. However, we've got a lot more problems in this country that I feel that he is more qualified to handle.
Socially, we are tired of political correctness. I think we're being burdened with it. I think it's making us weaker as a country globally. And I think that he represents that voice of that frustration, that political correct frustration.
Yeah, he makes mistakes. He's human. He says some things that are off color that I'm embarrassed by occasionally. But I still think he's a leader, and those prove that he's a leader.
I just think we need a complete shakeup. And I think he's the only one that can do it.
Now, what I find so scary about this clip is just how ordinary these folks seem, how banal their arguments are, even though they are justifying a candidate whose demagoguery appeals to the worst kinds of bigoted, anti-immigrant, and even anti-intellectual strains in American politics. So much so that despite Godwin's law, I couldn't help but be reminded of the famous Hannah Arendt quote about the banality of evil, referring to the trial of Nazi Adolf Eichmann as dramatized by the actress Barbara Sukowa in the 2012 movie about Hannah Arendt in this clip.
The greatest evil in the world is the evil committed by nobodies. Evil committed by men without motive, without convictions, without wicked hearts or demonic wills, by human beings who refuse to be persons. And it is this phenomenon that I have called the banality of evil.
So, what do you think? Is Hannah Arendt's famous quote about the banality of evil applicable to those ordinary folks supporting Donald Trump? And back to the title question, did you just watch the scariest political clip of 2015?
YouTube, you decide.